Commodore 64 presents a player card and video review. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hey there, welcome to another Lemon 64 play guide and review. In this week's show, we'll be checking out Super Enduro Racer, developed by Nick Pelling and not released by Activision in 1987. Super Enduro Racer was found on the GamesThatWerent website, and if you check out GamesThatWerent, you can also find demos of Dune 2, which was not converted to the Commodore 64, and of course somebody's mocked up some images of the face and also an action sequence from the game, and I don't think this game was ever even intended for the Commodore 64, and these are simply teasers for a game which could have been made if the Commodore 64 had probably 4 times as much memory and 4 times as fast CPU. Also find lots more impressive demos and screenshots on the GamesThatWerent website, hosted by Frank Gasking. And now let's move on to our main event. This is Super Enduro Racer, or Enduro Racer version 2 as it is also known, and you can see it has been cracked by TWR, that is the White Rebel, and this game is available on the CSDB. First thing you'll notice is that this game runs just a little bit quicker than the original Enduro Racer, not by much but by a little, and you can also see a multicoloured background as well and multicoloured riders, so we don't have to put up with really bad monochrome graphics. And unfortunately there are no music or sound effects compiled with this demo, but you can see that the lines moving across the road have been removed, and the lines moving by the side of the road is just enough to give us a sense of speed. The demo features 5 stages, each with different backgrounds and different colour schemes, and you can see hills and troughs and the road weaving around like it should do with an arcade conversion. Also press that fire button to do a monumental leap into the air, and unfortunately the collision detection isn't working, so we cannot jump over these bushes and over the ramps in our way, but we can see that effect, and that would have been really great if this game had have been finished. Stage 3 we find endless rivers that we can jump through, and they don't slow us down because this is only a demo. You won't find much here to slow down the player, and the player can cruise along at 199 kilometers an hour and simply take in the scenery, and you can see some trees which are a little bit faster and a little bit better than we found on Super Hang-On, and you can see the name Super Hang-On is actually printed at the top of that screen. The story goes that Nick Pelling was supposed to create this as a follow-up to the original game, and it got canned when it was close to the end. All they needed to do was link the music and the sound effects together and switch on that collision detection. You can see on stage 5 we find some snow and something which looks oddly like the water in Outrun, with water on one side and trees on the other. And you can see that this is head and shoulders above most of the racers that we managed to find on the Commodore 64, and it needed to be optimised slightly in order to be fast and furious. But apart from that, the demo is there, and it's certainly playable for people who used to play Enduro Racer and got severely peed off with that game. When we reach the end of the line, the game will simply loop all the way back to the beginning again, and that's not so bad because the beginning is a fairly funky level, and you can see even though this thing runs at maybe 4 frames a second, it still runs faster than maybe the 4 frames a second that the original game ran on, and that is just barely faster, but it is slightly faster, and it's a shame that this was never released. Though this game looks impressive, it is certainly not as impressive as Turbo Outrun on the Commodore 64 and the incredible Outrun Europa with its huge trees and breathtaking speed. This is certainly not those games and is among the very best of the worst games on the Commodore 64. Playing this after all this time is rather insane, and anybody who was a fan of the original could check this out. It's certainly more fun and more playable than the version 1 of Enduro Racer, which we happened to get on the Commodore 64. And so let's just leave that demo right there, because I've simply looped it enough times to see that it's okay, and that's all that there is to that game. Thank you once again, and see you again in another Play Guide review sometime soon. Thank you.